All right, let me start off with you, Barrister Adam Zata. What do you make of this particular suspension, 1 month suspension being given out to, some top PDP officials, and also the fact that a court came out yesterday to say they are suspending, the national the convention of People's Democratic Party?
I literally don't know what's happening in this part of the world. Is it that we are going on one-party system? It's unacceptable. May we not get to that part. Because if you look at the court over time, the court have stated that it is not the duty of the court to interfere with the affairs of the party. I'm now surprised that the same court is now giving a pronouncement that affairs to the dealings of a party. So I'm surprised the court is running contrary.
What's the implication of this contrary decision?
We have seen it over the years. It's a wrong practice. Now they are going on appeal. So it now presupposes that the grounds upon which they want to appeal, that the appellate court will now make a pronouncement.
Okay, well, let's try and understand what is happening in the PDP. Ayanwu and a few others were suspended by the NWC of the party. Wike is supposed to be part of the NWC, but I'm not sure he was part of that meeting where his allies were suspended. Now, the suspended secretary and legal advisor and a few others, with their own faction of the NWC, now suspended the national chairman or acting national chairman of the party. Help us make sense of it. They have been suspended by the NWC, and they now formed a faction that, in turn, in retaliation rather, suspended the national chairman and some other members in the other faction of the NWC. Is this the end of PDP?
I cannot say that's the end, because as we speak right now, there are about 8 governors thereabouts that are still in PDP. It's just left for them to put their house in order. I don't see them putting their house in order forthwith.
With more governors threatening to defect.
Whereas they are not the camp as we're speaking now. So we still count them as members of the People's Democratic Party. Whether we like it or not, they are still there.
The ADA has pitched the tent with the APC already.
Well, for now, they are still there. They still have more governors.
So you think
apart from APC, thereabouts, we have more governors in PDP. So it's left for them. I'm very optimistic. And I see more people, more governors decamping, particularly the northern governors. I see them joining ADC very soon. I see them.
So basically,
yes, a little bit they are building base and the atmosphere for them to come and land at APC thereabouts.
Now, there's a conversation, Barrister. Sorry to cut your line of thought. There's a conversation about the fact that the people who are currently in the PDP are practically working against the party. From your perspective, do you think this has any real story behind it? And that's one part. These guys that were suspended on anti-party activity. There is a certain Nyesom Wike, the FCC minister, that have been adjudged as one who has been doing that blatantly and nothing has happened to him. Why is he, or has he not been suspended thus far?
Because they accommodated him from the beginning. You accommodated him, and then you gave him all the ample opportunities. That is why the same Wike is now the the alpha and the omega of PDP, as I'm speaking to you right now. So nobody is taking the party for any seriousness as we're speaking right now. They are just there, temporary, and then they have created all the lacunas and all the issues thereabout. They are now falling back to other parties. That's what is happening in PDP.
All right, when the Federal High Court in Abuja, when they made a judgment to restrain PDP from carrying out their convention, they say that this was as a result of the fact that the party failed to comply with the provision of the Constitution and also the Electoral Act. I'm talking about the PDP Constitution. Recall that before now, we learned that Lamido couldn't purchase a form because of the fact that some person decided to hide the form from not just him, other people who wanted to participate.
And he also threatened to go to court.
Exactly. And he threatened to go to court. And boom, we're getting such a ruling from a court saying that that particular convention, for now, is placed on hold. And also with the suspension, 1 month suspension of Ayanwu and co, it's also going to fall into the time for this particular national convention to take place. Now, what do you really make of all this happening at this point? Because this is a time that PDP need to at least put their house in order for them to be able to know if they are going to participate actively in the 2027 general election?
If they fail to put their house in order, what happened in Zamfara State and some other states where there are issues towards the build-up of the last election, and then what happened? The court disqualified them that they failed to produce any candidate in the last election thereabout. So if they fail to put their house in order, they do not have a room, because if the convention failed to hold sometime this year, apparently they may not participate in the forthcoming election. So it's very, very important for them to put their house in order, because why will you even disqualify a candidate based on the fact that you will not avail them the form for them to participate in the exercise? You are depriving them of their constitutional rights.
Well, again, Barrister, I want to find out from you: is the judiciary now a de facto referee to party politics in Nigeria, and if that similarly look like what it is right now? What is the major concern ahead when it comes to democratic autonomy? What does it, means for democratic autonomy with these kind of court decisions?
By the provisions of Section 6 of the Constitution, which is clear, the judiciary is there saddled with the responsibility to interpret the provisions of the law to settle dispute between parties. But we have seen over the years that the same judiciary say that it is not the duty of the court to interfere with the affairs of the party. But we're now seeing the same judiciary that is giving a contrary interpretation of that same law. But where there's an infraction, where there's a violation of the extant law, which entails the provisions of the Constitution, which is equally deprivation of candidates by all standard, and also the breach of the Electoral Act, the court step in to interpret that law, and then by so giving, it can make any pronouncement. So for me, I think the problem is an internal issue between members of the party, and Wike is behind all this. Wike is behind all this. He's the one sponsoring them.
Are you saying that Wike now is stronger than the whole of the party?
Well, he has made himself stronger because he has a backup. The backup is there.
When you say he has a backup, who are we talking to, or who are we talking about?
I don't want to be open about it, but we have seen over the years that he has been bragging as to the one that that funded the party at a point where are you, this and that, and series of statements from him. So I don't want to delve into that. But the point I'm making in this sense is that Wike has made himself so empowered in such a way that nobody can touch him in PDP right now.
All right, then, Barrister, before we go to Port Harcourt, because we understand that our Port Harcourt guest has joined in, from your perspective, do you think that the PDP have failed to learn from the 2015 situation that collapsed the party practically? And if that seems to be the case, why does it look like the party members are clear on self-sabotage as it stands right now?
A lot of the PDP members are aggrieved with the decision that gave the party ticket to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar in the last election, more particularly Wike himself, because he felt that he's entitled, spirit of entitlement. Whereas he went to the battleground, he participated in the primary election, he lost. And then he agreed to support the candidate. But at the end of the day, Wike now worked against the party. How will you describe that? How best can you describe that? So for me, I think that a lot of the members are angry with the decision of the party. And the leadership have failed.
The leadership of the party?
Yes, they have failed to bring them together. And that's what we see, that the issues continue to linger on a daily basis. That's
all right, then let's take this conversation to our Port Harcourt studio. Prince Nixon Okwara, thank you so very much for joining us on this conversation. You are very aware of the situation in PDP, and as it stands, a lot of persons have come out to say that the PDP looks like a party practically sabotaging itself for some selfish interest and some selfish gain. But from your position, let me not preempt you. What do you make of this party situation? I'm talking about the PDP that had been adjudged back then in 1999, one of the greatest parties in the entire Africa.
Thank you very much for this question. I'm happy joining you today.
Thank you so very much.
As a matter of fact, the PDP dilemma is one that we can no longer continue to discuss about that because it's like an ill-fated flight that is destined to crash. Let's not forget how we got here. Unfortunately, sometimes a lot of people want to call or blame it on Wike, but it's sad that we forget the major person hand in this whole crisis, starting from 2014 or 2013, pre-Jonathan Buhari election. There were some of these issues that gave away the leadership to our party APC, and the PDP has not gotten over it till this moment. I see everything that the PDP's crisis is just the desperate ambition of the former Vice President Atiku, and what I see maybe Wike could be doing is fine, since that entitlement mentality of it must be me, and then I was just trying to say no, it can't be you all the time, and that's where we see what's going on, and that has not stopped. If you look at the Wike treatment, was as a result of the purported alliances that during that PDP APC primary, it was a rumor that they articulated some alliances into our to the APC party to ensure that he comes back, gets the ticket through the PDP, and Wike himself now decided to support the incumbent president. And mind you that after that 2014, he left the party to their fate, and some people were holding ground for the party, and suddenly he come back to want to play his lordship in the whole party. You know, those kind of things will not always work. Somebody actually sponsored and sustained that party to the point you returned. Right. So in all this, until such ambition is kind of giving up, the party will not get out of it, because so many people are out there to make sure, come, you are not the only person that must be president in Nigeria before this party will get well, or before the country will move forward. And therefore, we are all here to stop you. I think that is the major thing. The names and the actors we are seeing at the background is not the main issue, from what I understand personally. Now,
I'm still staying with you, Prince. What do you make of the injunction given by the Federal High Court halting the national convention of the PDP? What do you make of it?
As a matter of fact, we have seen that play out severally in the past, and that injunction can nullify any candidates in the coming election eventually, if the party did not take caution about it. That's the gospel truth. So it's advisable that their legal representative looks into it carefully, because I see it that no matter how it is, everything done outside this injunction or within the injunction could be declared invalid by the INEC. So there's every possibility that the party may not have a presidential candidate in 2027 elections if care is not taken.
Should the party go ahead with the convention? Is that what you mean?
Yes, if they should go ahead, it's going to be a very risky one on their part, unless that order is vacated. That's what I'm trying to say there. So I don't think that it's advisable for them to go ahead with that convention.
So as it stands,
unless
what?
Unless they don't want to have a legal candidate, to field the legal candidate in 2027 election, because you cannot go ahead when there is a court order telling you that you must not go ahead with this until you vacate it. There is no need going to waste your time and efforts. That's why I said we've seen that play out severally in the past, and we know what that's going to mean for the party itself. So there's every possibility, if they go ahead against this court order, then there's every possibility that the party will not have any legal candidates in 2027 election, and that will be a bad one for them.
A bad one for them, you say, but some other persons will be, that's a good one also, because you got that someone said something about being elated or being happy over the issues bedeviling other political parties, especially the opposition. Now, Prince Nixon, I learnt you were with the PDP before, later you left for the APC. Now, while you were there with the PDP, took us back to history, talk about how an individual wanted to, be the presidential candidate of the party before working or looking into the party. Some persons were of the opinion at this point in time that whatever thing that is happening in PDP is orchestrated by the sitting party. I'm talking about the APC, which you happen to be part of. But others are also saying that, too many hands, they say, spoil the broth. That with the movement of people, the influx of people from PDP to APC, we're going to see the APC implode in no distant time. Do you share that line of thought, or what's your opinion on that?
Not at all. You see, APC have been able to stabilize over the period, and there is no way anybody that is just expecting a doomsday will wait forever. In the sense that, you see, we have a leader who knows how to navigate the political terrain or such, and what causes a problem most cases is all about who gets what, and when you have the proper leadership and is able to share it accordingly, there will be no problem. Never mind what a lot of people are insinuating. I believe most of them are just praying from their imaginations that let it come to real. Unfortunately, that will not happen. APC will still come out stronger, better from the next election. And the unfortunate thing that's going to happen is that if you listen to what I said on one of your programs here, I said that the 2027 election will be a free ride to victory for our party. That was before you started seeing this massive movement from the campaign members of PDP into the party.
Right.
When you look at APC has been able to establish a very strong ideological convictions in the society, and they have also, the presidents have been also to show some strength and leadership in that party, that a lot of people have been able to develop confidence that this is where their interest will be served. Mind you that every politician's major interest is in political relevance and preservation, and all of them have seen the stability in the party, that that's where their interest can be preserved. So I don't see any reason why there will be implosion.
Prince, some would want to beg to differ with your ideology as a party, because a lot of persons have said political parties across Nigeria does not have any ideologies about interest, and that again is one major reason why a lot of defections are happening into your party. But that again is for another conversation. Because of time, we have to go. Your final thoughts, Prince Nixon, maybe in 30 seconds, your concluding thoughts so that we round up this conversation.
A very simple word. I believe that people will always have their opinion and they're entitled to it. But no matter what anybody thinks, APC is the party to beat, the largest party in West Africa. And when you look at the policies of the party presently, you find out that there is an ideological based position of the party, and beyond that, I'm convinced that anybody who is actually looking forward for a robust economy for Nigeria should be thinking about serving his political interest through the
all right, thank you so much.
Party.
Thank you so much. Your time, 30 seconds is up. Barsata, let's get your concluding thought in 30 seconds.
I'm not surprised at the sermon of Prince, because the same Prince now that is saying APC is 100% this and that and that, you will recall that the same person at a point before now is the same person in PDP saying the same storyline. So that is a typical example of Nigerian politicians. They don't hide their litmus test. Any place they are, there is